right, welcome into Chalk Talk Social. It is Friday, October 10th, and the fucking Brewers gave up another first inning home run to the Cubs.
He's coming in hot.
4 fucking straight games of first inning home runs to the Cubs. What in the hell, man? Like, that doesn't happen in any capacity. That doesn't happen. Why is it happening? What pain. Watching that just gives me so much pain. Iman, how are you, man? How we doing?
Man, I'm doing great. But you gotta have some comfort in it because y'all won the other day. So, it's a long game. It's a long game. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So just really y'all gonna get through. Trust me,
it caught up to his last game too. The Cubs finally just do enough to win. Like every game, first inning home run, Brewers allow nothing the rest of the game, and then last game it bites them in the ass in game 3. Game 4, start the game down 3-0. Like, this is unbelievable for the best pitching staff in baseball, arguably all season, come and walk into the playoffs, strut up 2-0 despite doing the same shit, and now it's coming to bite you in the ass, and you might be walking out here 2-2 or something like that. Like,
nah, they'll get the win tonight. They're gonna get the win on Thursday. They're gonna get the win tonight. Trust it. Trust it's gonna happen.
Unfucking real. Like, either way, no one wants to play down to start the game. It's like in football, you give up 7 points right off the jump, first drive. Like, that's horrible. Now your whole script kind of just it goes out the window.
For sure.
So, and now, yeah, it's just, and it's Freddie Peralta pitching. Like, your ace. Fuck, man. Not how, like, all right, anyways, we got, hey, not Brewers related, but we got a great episode. We got a couple fan segments coming up today. We got a fan who's kind of a NFL uniform like extraordinaire on social media, especially on TikTok. So we kind of go through some uniform matchups, just some nostalgic stuff, and kind of previewing some upcoming games just based off some uniform vibes. So that was a really fun. We'll have a really fun conversation talking to him, as well as an Ohio State fan who's going to come on. They got a game against Illinois this weekend, but we're going to kind of go through the state of Ohio State so far this season. Are they the team to beat? We talked about in our last episode. Their name came up. Are they the team to beat amongst other topics? And then we're going to rip into the news desk. Got quite a bit of things to go over from the week, thankfully, because, playoff baseball is happening. The Yankees are gone. They shrink again. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be looking like today. I mean, Iman, anything from your week that you got to start the episode with? Did you got to get off your chest or anything like that?
Listen, I'm telling you right now, the way you're acting, you should see me on Sundays when my team are playing. Listen, shit get thrown around in the room, and I'm just emotional. But hey, it's a good week. I'm not gonna lie, we had great practice today. My track team is starting to figure things out. I know I don't have any expectations for Baltimore winning this weekend, so I'm not super emotionally attached to it this weekend.
1-5. That's
I told you we're done. I think it's over. I told you the other day the loser between Chiefs, which Chiefs end up losing too, but I think they'll be okay. But I mean, we're done. We're done.
Playoffs happened right now. Chiefs and Ravens both out of it. Probably no one thought that. I think people had lower expectations for the Chiefs this year, honestly, coming into it with their wide receiver situation. I mean, kind of their wide receiver situation. Obviously, Worthy got hurt for a little bit, but obviously Rice is that is a situation. But yeah, I mean, Ravens still extremely disappointing, and we got some good NFL games this week, and it's a hell of a slate that we'll be watching. We'll talk about a couple of them, but hey, why don't we jump into it with our first fan here? We're going to go to Zach from NFL Uniforms. We'll kind of get into that conversation and then come back into the Ohio State conversation with you. All right, let's kick it over to our first interview of the show, first fan interview of the show. We got Zach Cohen coming on the show to join us. Zach, you're a big uniform guy, right? Appreciate you coming on, talking some uniform matchups with us.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. It's not every day I get to hop on other shows and talk about uniforms. I mean, I post about it so much on TikTok and Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So it's always fun to have other people to talk about it with, because this has got to be what I think probably the greatest year I've ever been alive, seeing NFL uniforms with throwbacks and alternates, a new rivalries program. So it's a lot of cool stuff out there for uniform fans and just football fans in general, I think.
I was going to say, this is like perfect timing. The NFL's got some good unis going right now. Obviously, the Tampa Bay Bucks bringing back some class. That Bucs-Seahawks matchup, that Week 5 matchup, Bucs-Seahawks in the throwbacks, that was chef's kiss of uniforms. I'm looking forward to hearing your favorite matchup of the year, but that's so far been my favorite uniform matchup of the year, like bar none. Those two unis on the field against each other was sexy. But yeah, like you said, Zach, you got that TikTok page loaded with uniform matchups. You know, you can give it a shout at the end, but I would highly encourage people to go check it out. It's been entertaining to watch, and I'm a little obsessed with it. Make some bets off of some uniform matchups. You're not giving no gambling advice here, but you know, you're I think some things to watch out for from your channel, some games to look out for. But why don't we kind of start into it? I guess first, Zach, who's your team? Who's like the uniform you have to watch the most?
Oh, the Miami Dolphins, and it's not fun. It's not fun. And the number one thing I always see is that they should make their throwbacks permanent. And my two cents for that are pretty simple. Is I don't, for those watching, there's a Dan Marino throwback right behind me, and I don't want that in the modern era. I want to leave the good times in the past. Like, please don't ruin that for me. If I had to see whichever Dolphins quarterback they conjured up wearing those throwbacks every single game, that wouldn't go over well. It would just blend the two eras. And then the other thing I always see is how people want the Chad Pennington, John Beck era uniforms with the navy typeface, the bold dolphin with the helmet on. And that's kind of the same thing, but for a different reason. The Dolphins were mediocre. I mean, they still are, but the Dolphins were mediocre in that time. I don't want those uniforms back because, damn, I've been traumatized by those uniforms my entire life. So again, please leave them in the past. I think they have good current uniforms. Actually, I think maybe they could be a bit better, maybe a different sleeve design. But for the most part, I think they're pretty overhated.
Nah, but I'm going to tell you right now, Zach, I love Miami throwback. See, I'm not sure if you're a sneaker guy. I'm a sneaker guy. South Beach LeBrons. We got the South Beach Bo Jacksons with the orange. And listen, the Miami jerseys go perfect with my South Beach collection of shoes that I have. I kill it every time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kill it every time that I go out with a throwback with my South Beach's LeBrons on.
Okay, hey, can't argue against that. It's been a minute since I've been really, really into shoes, but I can tell you right now, dude, the aqua and the orange color scheme, it's so good. It's so good. You pair it with the right pair of kicks, man. I mean, it could go pretty hard, especially down in South Beach. Hell yeah.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think about those orange Dolphins unis that they were wearing all the time back in the early 2000s?
I thought the jersey from that era was fine. I thought it was fine and pretty I don't want to say iconic because it didn't really mean anything outside of nostalgia. I thought those were good. When they redid them for Color Rush and had that more pleated orange with the full pants, that was a bit much. I would be open to an orange jersey down the line, but I don't think an all-orange uniform would be probably the smartest with the shade of orange they have right now. I know they've talked about it in the building. I don't know if that'll happen, but I know they've talked about it. So that's my one plea. If you're going to bring it back, just the jersey. We don't need the pants. We don't need the helmets. I'm good.
Yeah, look kind of clean. Like that Ronnie Brown era. Chris Chambers is still kind of hanging around that electric orange, the white pants. I mean, it was kind of a clean look. I always using it back on Madden back in the day. That was one of those unis you were waiting to spend your Madden coins on and spend a little extra on those electric oranges as a kid.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you right now. I think the two types of jerseys I see the most that Dolphins fans have or wear to the games that isn't their current uniform is that orange jersey, and then the throwbacks, the aqua throwbacks, obviously. I've got to be the most worn thing I've seen outside of the primary set. And for good reason. Like you said, they're nice as heck.
Yeah, those are clean. I mean, speaking of clean unis, NFL has been trending towards all these white unis, these all white out unis. We just saw the Bills wear theirs. Those were clean. I like those. The Vikings got theirs. The Packers got theirs. And, my only tripe with the Packers is they just got to get rid of the yellow. Just go straight green and white. I think it'd be so much – it would just be better, I think. It's still nice. Do you got a favorite white out uni, whatever they're calling them, the winter warrior, winter Viking, whatever they're calling them? You got a favorite white out uni that maybe we've seen or not seen yet?
Yeah, I think of those three. Well, I've said for a minute, the Bears have done a lot of different things over the years that haven't really gone over well, but I think they're the perfect team to do an all-white look. And just call them the Polar Bears. Pretty
That's
simple.
easy. Wow, that works.
Pretty simple. But out of the three you mentioned, I can't stand the Packers white ones, kind of for the reason you said, because the helmet, they just took the decals and the striping from the primary helmet, which those don't have the yellow because the shell is yellow. So it's a green and white helmet with their normal jersey that has the yellow in it. So my thing was I would almost do the exact opposite of what you said. Instead of making it all green white, I would add yellow striping and decal as a part of the stripe and the G logo on the helmet. If they wanted to go all green and white, I guess it'd be more consistent. I guess I'd like it a little bit better. But I think adding a touch of yellow to that would be nice. But I think I like the Bills, I think, more than the Vikings, just because I think the Vikings might do a little too much with it. I think it looks good. I think the Bills and Vikings, all whites, the Winter Warriors, and then the Cold Front Rivalries uniforms, I think they all look good. The Vikings silver stripe down the middle of the helmet has always been really annoying to me because it's not on their primary helmet and it's kind of out of place. Like, it's just a one stripe, doesn't match any other pattern on the uniform. So I think I'd go with the Bills. I know some people didn't like the Bills uniforms. It's like I've tweeted about before. The settings on the cameras sometimes impact how a uniform looks. It's why the Dolphins uniforms look different in basically every game, because the cameras have to account for the shade of color the field is, the lighting in the stadium. Is it night or day? So to some people, the Bills uniforms probably looked a little too plain, or maybe a little too bright. But I think up and close, the blue outline and the reflective silver, especially with that like chrome beveled Bill logo on the sleeve, like I thought those were pretty nice.
Yeah, fire. When I seen them, I was like, man, they outdid themselves with those. And as a player, I always like all white. Now, I was the all white icy, but see, when I played in the 90s, early 2000s, we didn't have the artificial fields. So after 3 games with all whites, they looked dingy by game 7. But I'm an all white guy. I love icy white. I mean, that's the greatest thing ever. When I seen them Bills, I was like, ooh, I might got to buy one of them jerseys. They're fire.
Yeah, that'd be that Josh Allen one. I'm a big Josh Allen fan around here. Iman, you've been around the block a couple, 2-3 times. I mean, you got like an old school throwback jersey that you wish that was still around in these days. And this, like, when we're bringing back all these old schools, is there one that's like not been brought back yet that you were like, they got to get this one back in the mix? It was so nice.
I haven't seen too many that hasn't came back, but I'm gonna tell you, I used to love the New England Patriots during the refrigerated prairie days when I want to say they played in them not too long ago with the guy snapping the ball like the all white with the blue stripe. I love the New England Patriots throwback, and I hate to say it out loud because I'm no longer a Cowboy fan, but the Cowboy throwback Thanksgiving uniforms are the ones that I love with the star on the shoulder. They do the all white helmet with just the blue star. I mean, what's better than that? I got a Tony Romo one. Yeah, I got a Tony Romo one. Gives me nightmares to even think I still got those jerseys, but I got a Tony Romo one. But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't go further back because I seen Green Bay and Chicago and them do like the 50s jerseys. Those are the most hideous, jerseys I've ever seen in my life.
Brown pants.
Yeah, like don't ever do that again. So
recreating the leather helmet.
Yeah, that just was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, those Cowboys ones are nice. The Patriots back in like the Drew Bledsoe era with the Patriots, those are cool unis too, man. Like there's another one in Madden. You were just hoping to unlock that or buy that one as an alternate uni in Madden. I like those ones a lot. Zach, you got
metallic jersey numbers. Yeah. Yep. I actually, believe it or not, I liked the ones right before that. They looked a little simpler. They didn't have the slant on it. They didn't have the faded red and white stripes on the chest plate. But they were fine. It's still the Patriot logo. It was like it kind of looked like the Giants, some people would say, but those are classics as well.
Yeah, I like the 99, 98 Patriots with the Patriot. Do you like it's like their own version of that Cowboys jersey. We got the Patriot guy on like the shoulder. type of thing. Yeah, those are
man,
kind of
I actually have a question for you. I've always wanted to ask this to a player because my vision, ironically, I talk about uniforms all the time. My vision is pretty terrible. Like I grew up playing like football, and the older I got, the more I realized like my eyes aren't really like staying up at the level of my hands in the game. I always wondered if the face mask color impacted how you might see the ball in certain settings. I don't know if you ever had experience with that or thoughts about that. If like there was certain, even beyond the face mask, if like you walked onto a field and you noticed that, like maybe my eyes aren't adjusting the right way, or maybe I see way better right now because of the lighting or even how the helmet. Have you ever had any thoughts about any of that?
Not really. So in high school, I played quarterback. So, I always had to I played with the Tony D's. So back in our days, we would know the name of face masks. I don't know the name of the face masks, what they call them now. So the Tony D was with Tony Dorsett wore, or the Eric Dickerson. So one year I had the Eric Dickerson, and it was in my peripheral right here. So it was bad. So my coach switched me to a Tony D. Then when I got in college, I played with a Dickerson. So every now and then when you're catching passes, like I said, that bar would kind of catch your peripheral bad. But nah, it never really made a difference. Because I'm thinking in high school, we had orange helmets, blue face masks, so it was dark. And usually when we play other teams, and see, I used to I'm in an era, we put tape on our face masks. We were accessorized out back in my days. I mean, wristbands, spats on the shoes, the long socks. I was a big Jim Harbaugh fan, so I wore black cleats. He wore black in Indianapolis when he played for Indianapolis. He had like the all black cleats, so I wore those. But no, face masks never really. To me, you knew who the good guys were from their face masks. In the era I played, you knew the good players from their face masks because it was only a certain amount of Dickersons they had, only a certain amount of Tony D's. And then when you see a safety with the Ronnie Lott, you like, oh shit, he's a
bad dude.
Yeah, because people don't want to wear those. Those were like the lineman masks. So those were the only thing that we kind of locked eyes on, just knowing who the players were. But it never affected me except the Tony D's. I mean, the Dickersons when your peripheral, because that bar is right there in your peripheral. But other than that, I wore a shield too in college, a clear shield in college. So yeah.
Good to know. All right. I'm glad I got that question answered because I've always that's always bugged me. Me.
Interesting. Oh, well, Zach, how about this? I mean, let's get into kind of like, before we get into the rest of the season, like you're going to give us some matchups you're watching for the rest of the season, just based off uni vibes that we got to look into. But is there any particular like all-time uniform game that you're like, that was it? That was the best uniform matchup all time? One that's happened already, perhaps?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone was talking about the Bucs-Seahawks game. I mean, they both celebrated 50 years this year. So the Seahawks had their throwbacks from last year. The Bucs brought out their white version of their creamsicles from their first year. So, like, already that's a big one. And a big reason why it looked so good, aside from the color palette and how the uniforms look itself, but the new fabric that the teams have whipped out since the Nike rebrand in 2012, like they're much smoother. I think everyone who has owned a jersey since 2012 and has had one before 2012 can also tell you, like with the Reebok mesh fabric that the Packers still emulate, it is so much different than the type of jerseys that we get now. They're almost like dry fit t-shirts. And that's exactly what the jerseys look like in the NFL. So they translate a lot better. Colors pop a lot more. The stitching looks a lot better on the current ones because the fabric is more put together. It's smoother. But when I think about like the best uniform matchup I can ever remember, I think about in 2009, it was a snow game. The Patriots wearing their Pat the Patriot uniform. So they had the white helmet, the red jersey. And then the Titans had their Oilers uniform, but not the one that they've worn the last couple of seasons. They had the light blue shell and the all white uniform with the blue numbers. This stands out to me because the refs also wore throwback uniforms.
Hell yeah.
Red and white striped uniforms, and I thought it was like I'll never forget that. It's an iconic looking game, that's for sure.
Those are clean looks. I
Mm-hmm.
love that Oiler, like baby blue, that Carolina blue when it comes out is so nice. And those red ones too, those red Patriots ones too, those are clean too. I like those. I love seeing my former Badger James White repping those, running up and down the field. Those are clean too. All right. Iman, I don't know if you got an all-time jersey game from back in your heyday that you could pop off on. If you'd ever watch.
I'm trying to say I don't really have a game. Another jersey. I got a Warren Moon #1. I'm telling you, I was so I grew up in the 90s. I was in high school in the 90s, 95, 96, 97. So throwback jerseys became like this big thing. I guess Jay-Z. I don't know who actually started it, but I mean, I got the Warren Moon, the Charles Woodson. So I got and I killed him. I got the Charles Woodson, Michigan, and Charles Woodson, Green Bay. I wore them back-to-back days. I don't know if you remember the Charles Woodson shoes either.
No.
I'm a shoe guy and the jersey guy. But those were my favorite jerseys to actually wear. The Warren Moon, my Charles Woodson back-to-back with the Michigan and Packers. And I want to say Miami. I just like colors. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I go jerseys, because I've been a Cowboy fan my whole life, it's kind of basic, just the royal and the white. So I'm just used to that silver too. I like the silver, but I'm kind of the basic. If I had to do it, I would have to go into college, which I don't want to switch it to college, but the college Oregon, I can't remember who they played, but yeah, I don't really have a NFL game, but
not an all-timer.
Yeah.
I've always and I know they're wearing them currently. They kind of redone them up a little bit too. Those Chargers, like dark navy blue, or even the ones from. Personally, I was a fan of the ones last year that they don't have in their palette this year. Actually, not. Yeah, there was a 2023 unit. It looks like. Whereas not their darkest navy blue, but like the just
royal blue.
Yeah, that royal blue look with like the yellow numbers, yellow trim on the white helmet. That I really like what the Chargers have done for the most part sometimes, but yes, I think I've always been a big Charger uni fan too.
Oh yeah, the Chargers have done it well my entire life, and even in the history books from the 60s and 70s, they've killed it. I have stood on a pedestal before to say it, and I'll say it again. I think blue and yellow in any combination, whether it's a navy or a light gold or anything, is probably the best color combination in sports. It looks fantastic, whether it's the UCLA, light blue and gold, or what the Chargers got now with the sunshine gold and powder blue. It blows my mind every single time.
Perhaps the Milwaukee Brewers going to rep those walking into the NLCS this year. How about that now? I love it. Yeah, the Brewers unis too look so good with that dark blue.
Oh yeah,
with the yellow. All right, Zach. How about let's talk about rest of the season then? You said you got a couple matchups you're keeping an eye on based off uniforms. Maybe we should be thinking about some. Iman, I know you've been a betting man and you're doing well, so maybe this is going to give you some idea of what games to keep an eye on.
It. Yeah,
killing it. All right, Zach. What kind of games are you looking at rest of the season? Let's base it off of the uniforms. We got to be watching this game.
Oh, yeah. Well, this first one was one I've had circled on my calendar for a while because I will have the opportunity to be there in person. Last year, I was at the Falcons-Bucks game where Kadarius Hodge scored the game winner in overtime, and the Falcons wore their throwbacks, and they did a throwback field. That's the plan for this upcoming week, this Monday Night Football. The Falcons and the Bills are also wearing their throwbacks. So they've got the white helmet with the red standing buffalo, and then the throwback jersey with the throwback socks. So I'm more than excited for that because I'll be there. But what I gotta say, there's at least two more all throwback games this season. But there is one non-throwback game that I'm looking forward to, and it touches literally on what you just said, Austin. In week, I don't know what week it is. In sometime in this month, so week 6, 7, 8, week 8 or 9, something like that, the Chargers are wearing their all-navy throwbacks against the Vikings. And the Vikings will have to wear a white jersey with that. So if they go an all-white look, might not be my favorite, But just to see those old Navies back again against what I think is a pretty underrated look in the Vikings, whether they're wearing their purple tops or their white tops, there's going to be the primary look. But I'm looking forward to that one as well, just because the Chargers Navies, they were done so perfectly. Like, we knew that this could happen, and we're wondering, like, are they going to be identical to what they wore in San Diego? And they literally are, and it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. So those are two I'm excited to see.
Week 8. It's Week 8 game.
Week 8. Oh, man, that's going to be here before we know it. Let's go. I'm hyped
Is
about
there
that.
a quick question, Zach, while we're here? I'm not sure how deep you are into it. Is it a correlation of wins and losses when throwback home and away? Like, because if I knew that, I'd be like, listen, I'm going to look for these throwbacks. Is it a correlation when most home teams go to the throwback? Do they usually win, lose? Is it something there? Is it something there?
No, but it's always overstated when it is. Like, I'll give you an example right now. The Bucks this year are 2-0 in their white creamsicle, so naturally all the fans love it a little more. And it kind of goes back to this bigger idea where, like, some people want the Bucks to make them permanent. And look, they're fantastic. These creamsicles are my favorite uniforms in football. I don't think there's a single Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan who wants them to be permanent because of how poorly they played in the actual things, right? That is the trials and tribulations of bringing back an older uniform, as you invoke the feelings the team had when wearing them. So to answer your question, like, there really isn't. I know there are probably other teams out there that have a great record or a terrible record in certain uniforms, but I do find it funnier to be a part of that bigger conversation of, like, why not every team should make throwbacks permanent? You do not. I do not want the Dolphins looking like they're running out with Chad Pennington and John Beck on the field. I definitely don't. Not at all. But we got a couple other good ones this year too, and I think probably the biggest ones. So the Bucks are going to wear their orange top creamsicles at home when the Falcons play. So the Falcons are going to wear their black jersey, red helmet throwbacks against the Bucks, and that's going to be another Thursday night football game in December. So nighttime, it's going to look fantastic with the colors in Tampa. Literally a follow-up to their game last year where the Falcons wore the throwbacks at home. So I'm excited for that. I have a good feeling that probably the biggest uniform game of the season is going to come Sunday Night Football. And no surprise that these are all primetime games. The teams want to show off their nostalgic uniforms, arguably their best-looking uniforms. Seattle is traveling, and they will wear their blue throwbacks with the chrome helmets they just wore for an away game against the Commanders, who will be wearing those white throwbacks from the Super Bowl era they just unveiled again before the season. So you got the Commanders, going with the Super Bowl era uniforms. They'll still have the Washington Commanders W on the helmet.
Yeah.
That'll be the home jersey. Seahawks throwbacks, the away jersey. That's going to get a lot of buzz. I think it's like the worst kept secret among league circles that the Commanders are going to make these permanent after the season and then unveil, a burgundy look to go with it to wear at home.
Let me see these. Oh, yeah, those are nice. Those Commanders ones are nice. I'm liking. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I forgot about that Falcons red. They had the red helmet too. Man, seeing back again, I just keep going back to Madden because that's what I was always just messing with the uniform. Back in the Michael Vick and Madden repping some of the red, getting all that red uni on there that I could with the black and the gray pants or something. I love messing with some Falcons unis too. Those are clean. I kind of like what they've done now. I think those are some pretty good games to keep an eye on. I think the Commanders have an underrated look. To be honest, I think it's kind of clean. I kind of like it a little bit. Is there like a team where it's like, we got to scrap these? Was there one jersey you see that like, please throw these in the garbage, burn it, and just like throw the ashes out into the ocean?
Yeah, you just said them, the Commanders, but it's not for the reason you think. It's not for the reason you think. I'm not going to – look, they made the name change for a reason. I think it's fine, so I'll stick with it. Commanders isn't a bad name. I thought Washington Armada would have been the sickest name of all time to have a non-plural team name. I like the Commanders, but the uniforms they chose were horrendous. If they want to make them look exactly like they used to, sure, by all means, go for it. If they want to pursue a new era, like I think that's fine and probably the smarter thing to do, because if you just keep bringing back the designs of the past, you're going to be stuck in the past. It's not a design progresses, and eventually those will get old. But the Commanders' current look, I think, is horrendous, especially the white one. And I just tweeted about this with the all-white look. The pants have no stripes, so the pants look exactly like the Jaguars' pants do, the Saints' white pants do. They all look the exact same except for the logo, really scrunched up by the pocket. Mm-hmm. But the jersey, the Commanders' white jersey, is a mess. How it got approved, I have no idea. It has, I think the only gold on the jersey is the gold Nike swoosh at the top of the shoulder. Then you've got the cutoff sleeve design broken up with a fake gradient diamond pattern and a random black stripe. They just did that. So I don't know if y'all know this. In order to make a black uniform, it has to be A, either a prominent part of your logo, B, have historical precedent for doing so. That's why the Lions could do that. Or C, it has to be somewhere on one of your jerseys. So the Colts, they came out with their black helmet because they put a black Nike logo on their away uniforms that you can't even see, but they skirted the rule. The Commanders did the same thing, and it looks horrendous. I think the helmet actually is pretty good. It's it's not. I think it's matte. There's more satin, and it's got the gold W on. I think that's sharp. Yeah. I think a white stripe along the gold helmet stripe would have been fine. But the jerseys are just so bad. The diamond pattern, the sizing of the jerseys, the sizing of the numbers. I mean. Horrendous. Horrendous decision. They look so bad. I think the Falcons also could use something. The helmets, again, the Falcons and Commanders have two pretty good helmets, I think. The jerseys, complete mess.
I think when I'm talking about the Commanders ones, I personally am a fan of the all black ones. I kind of like, I don't know.
Hate those.
You don't like those? I just think they kind of pop. I think they kind of pop nice. And personally, I also like the all reds that they got going too. I'm looking at the ones that you don't like. And yeah, it's interesting.
I will say the Commanders bringing back the gold pants to pair with the burgundy jersey was a win. I don't hate the burgundy jersey as much because it's a little more cohesive and it fits the color scheme. It's really, for the main part, the white jersey. Then the blacks too. The all black uniform it's just a mess. It has no consistency. It's got random elements all over it. I don't hate black uniform if done right, but it was just hey, let's make it all black and then just throw random stuff on here. Okay. No rhyme or reason.
The Bengals all black isn't bad. I was just the high school I coach at, we're Bengals, so I'm designing some track uniforms right now, and I pulled up the all black ones with the all black and listen, those are cold and fire. I like the Bengals because I was literally just looking at that I might do something with that. Now, I'm going to tell you, my worst jerseys are those Seattle jerseys. That one you got up there, those are the worst jerseys. So, Cam Chancellor, I coached in my high school. I was his quarterback coach in high school, yes. And I have a white jersey of his in the blue, and I look at it every day I never wear it out. Now, I got one box, but I never wear it out because those jerseys, I just hated that lime green with the gray. That's just bad. I think those are the worst ones ever in this era anyway.
Interesting. My the ones I've always do you remember the time when the Jaguars went with the gradient helmet, the Blake Bortles era in that mustard gold jersey with the gradient helmet, the black to gold helmet? That was a choice. That was a choice.
Every single day. I've been talking a lot about the Jaguars lately because they wore the Prowlers on Monday night. I loved the numbers on those, but the rest of the uniform was, like you said, man, a mess. The sleeves, I can't stand when teams cut off the sleeves, and it has to do with the template of the jersey. Sometimes just based on the fabric, it kind of behooves you to make it a different color. So when you have a white jersey like the Jaguars had in that era, and then just the sleeve is just black, I'm not a fan of that two-tone. And then the helmets too, man, like you said, is a mess, fading into the gold. Ugh, not good. Not good.
A quick question before we move on to Zach. Do you know are there fashion people that design the jerseys for teams, or they're kind of just somebody in the team? But do they outreach to like fashion people to say, "Hey, we want you to kind of throw a twist"? And what you think? Is it fashion people?
It is a little bit different based on the ideation, but the process is all the same. So the final approval for uniforms comes from within the team. It is the owner, the president, and the head equipment manager.
Okay.
So realistically, it's up to them how they want to move about the design process. The last, since Nike took over, it's pretty much all been Nike. If they want to bring in outside ideas, they can, but it is Nike who's sitting down there and saying, all right, this is what we're going to do. If you have any ideas, we'll intake them. Or if you just want us to go completely from scratch, like the Seahawks did in 2012 to make the uniforms you don't love so much. So it can be a little bit of both, but like Nike drives that process, and then it's up for the team to approve it. And then when the team's good with it, they got to get a league approval as well. And I don't think the league has a lot of rules, some of which have become more lenient over the years that kind of can dictate how the uniforms got to finish looking, like color scheme. You can't have, not that they would ever do this, but you can't have the Lions like adopting navy and orange. You can't. That's the Bears color scheme, navy and salmon, I guess. So there are certain rules that kind of dictate how the design happens, but for the most part, it's the team driving it, and then Nike is the one that puts it together.
Okay.
Interesting. Zach, and we'll wrap it up here. I think, I don't know, we're not going to get into this because it would take some brain power, but you ever see those edits on Instagram where they merge the NBA look, the NBA colors with the football unis?
Oh my God, the graphic god does that.
You maybe have seen this. Have you ever seen one? There's been a couple where I was like, you know what? That one's kind of nice though.
Oh my gosh, yes. I've seen a bunch of them. I got a bunch saved. I use Instagram for two reasons. One, to interact with work, and then two, just to save uniform concepts. And some of the, I think 90% of what the graphic god makes is stuff I have saved. So I'm going to plug the graphic god, I guess, literally at the graphic god on Instagram and Twitter. Yes, I've seen those concepts, and I think they are fantastic. Sometimes.
Some of them. Half of them are just like
throw They can't all be winners. It's just how design works.
For sure.
Yeah, those are always a fun scroll. Well, Zach, really appreciate you taking the time with us, going through some of your combos. Why don't you let the people know, because you do some awesome stuff on TikTok with jersey stuff. So why don't you let the people know where they can find you at?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys having me on. I know it's sometimes tough to describe design elements over audio, but the video, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, same handle through all three. I'm way more active on Twitter, but I post a few times a week on TikTok. Seems to be my biggest following so far, at Zach Cohen, FB, ZachCohen, FB. I appreciate y'all. This was a lot of fun. This was awesome.
Yes, sir. It was.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much, Zach. And we'll be watching the content more. It's good stuff, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. See you. Okay, let's go into the Ohio State conversation. Now let's bring Blake onto the screen. Blake, how are we doing today, man?
Doing well. How are you guys doing? Appreciate you guys having me on.
Okay.
Absolutely, Blake. We know you're a big Buckeye guy. Remind us the name of the channel you are kind of participating with online.
Yeah, it's called The Silver Bulletin. You can find us online at tsilverbulletin.com, and Saturday Cadence for our National College Football Show.
Okay, that sounds good. Look, as a lifelong Wisconsin Badgers fan, being from Wisconsin myself, I'll never tune in. I promise. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Shit, I might need to find a new team at this point. We are so damn screwed, and that football program has absolutely gone to shit in Wisconsin. It was good. It was trending down, and Luke Fickell was supposed to be the guy to get on track, and he's only made things 10 times worse. We got Barry Alvarez calling us freaking spoiled, even though that team hasn't won shit in forever. You, however, Blake, you have a cushy life as an Ohio State fan. You're living good again, man. I mean, how you feeling about the team this year? Obviously, I'm sure pretty good, but, maybe compared to other seasons, how you feeling about this team comparatively maybe last year or year before?
Yeah, no, I do feel really good right now. And I think one of the biggest reasons for that is that defense. I mean, we were talking on our show this week is you look at the spread of a game if you pick Ohio State against the number, and then you almost think, all right, how many points can Ohio State score? Subtract the spread, and you're like, can the other team get that many? Is there a team that can score 20 on Ohio State right now? I don't know. It's tough. You got Caleb Downs on the back end of that defense, arguably the best player in college football. Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese are the best linebacker duo, and Caden Curry's been an animal on the defensive line. And that's crazy because Jeremiah Smith is the best player in the country, and he's on offense. And that's not even the first thing you talk about with Ohio State. Sayan's completing over 80% of his passes. Bo Jackson's a great freshman running back, not to mention Carnell Tate and Max Clare, and probably the best offensive line by stats right now. I mean, it's a long season. There's a lot of time to go. But just through the first 5 weeks, it's hard to find a weakness on Ohio State the way they've been playing. And Ryan Day's been great, keeping them hungry every single week, not being satisfied. You don't want to get caught looking ahead in any spots like that. This team's been really focused, and that's been great to see after losing so many guys to the NFL draft last year. Now they come back and they reload, and this team is hungry. They haven't won anything yet. They keep saying that. These players haven't. They've actually taken down some of the regalia in the facility, and they're hungry for a championship, and that's the edge that this team's playing with, which is really good. And it's not something that we're used to seeing from a defending champion team.
I was going to say, when you got a defending champion, they're usually a little bit like comfy, cozy. So I was going to say, they're like, that defense especially is playing like they never won a championship before. I mean, you kind of touched on all the reasons why they're dominating. And obviously you got teams like Oregon and Ole Miss. You got some pretty good, you got some ballers up at the top. Bama's coming back alive. Georgia's always competitive. I mean, there's a lot of really good teams at the top right now. I mean, is Ohio State, I mean, realistically, be totally real. Is that the team to beat right now? I mean, the defense probably is the best in the country, like you said, but is that the team to beat?
Yeah, I mean, you see all these other teams in the country. Miami's looked really good. Oregon has also looked good. I think those are the three top teams. I think there's a little bit of a drop-off after that. And, yeah, Ohio State's won the national championship, and they look the part again this year. You're not just saying this with, oh, yeah, they're the defending champs, so they get benefit of the doubt. I think they've actually earned it by their play on the field, too. Sure, has Texas disappointed a little bit? Yeah, but Texas still has really good players. That was still a really great game. They can still turn that season around. There's good players in that program. Slowing down Washington, they're scoring 55 points a game, going to 6 points. I mean, Damon Williams, I mean, just
I was at that game. I live out in Washington. I was at that game, and Iman said, I'm going to be drinking tequila, having glizzies at halftime. And it was kind of close. And look, Jeb Fish, to me, I've never been a fan of the guy. I've been a fan of him for bringing over Damon Williams and Jonah Williams. That's it. Otherwise, like you saw how he cost that team literally first 2 plays. Jeb Fish gets them screwed. And then that was Sayan's first away game as a starter. Was really impressed. Obviously, Washington's defense is nothing special, but, he held his own. That stadium, man, gets so loud. They got the overhang on it gets absolutely loud in there, and that place was packed to the brim. So Julian Sayan definitely impressed in that first away game.
Yeah, he did. That's what's been so special with having a defense that good is Ryan Day, Brian Hartline. They've gotten to slowly bring him along because they're not trying to go out and say, oh, we have to score 40 points. We have to do this on offense. Ohio State doesn't have to do anything on offense. That's special. And that's one of the luxuries you have with a defense that's that good. I mean, Ohio State was, they threw the ball downfield a little bit, but how many throws, 20-plus yards, did Sayan have in the game? I don't think he had any. They were just running the football. They were taking what the defense gave them. And what is really cool about this team, because of how versatile it is and all the skill positions, Ohio State can beat you in many different ways. Against Texas, they chose to win the game with a conservative game plan and with defense. And then with Washington, they said, we're going to, again, smother you with defense, and we're going to be conservative, but not as much. And they still could win the game. You don't even have to think about it. And then P.J. Fleck last week in his post-game press conference goes, I've not seen a defense like that in 13 years. It's so hard to diagnose. And it's so insane to me. Again, we're going to go right back to it. How are you talking about this Ohio State team with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, 2 first-round picks, and a 5-star quarterback, and a stud offensive line and a stud transfer tight end? And the first thing you talk about is the whole defense and Matt Patricia.
Yeah, which now I do say it's kind of early in the season. I think Michigan 2 years ago was a pretty good defense too.
They were,
and I don't want to bring up Michigan around you, not yet. It's a little too early. I was going to bring them up later.
We think about them every day.
But being it is kind of early in the season, who do you think what team left on the schedule, or just looking ahead to the college football playoffs? Which, I mean, something drastic's got to happen for y'all not to make it. But what you think, what team will kind of give y'all the most struggles, you think?
I think Illinois is going to present a different challenge this week. I don't know what the scoreboard will be, but I think they'll show Ohio State some different things, especially if the offensive line's able to play well for Illinois. But I'm really looking down the schedule at a team like Penn State because they're going to be in desperation mode. Now, we know that the narrative around James Franklin and them in big games, and they've not beaten Ohio State since 2016, but that team is backed into a corner in desperation mode. They've got to go to Iowa beforehand. So right now you can say if there's any championship medal in that team, they beat Iowa, and then they come into Columbus like one of the top 10 teams in the country, not like the unranked team that's going to end up in Columbus. That's how you have to look at it for Penn State as of right now. I mean, you have to play with them that way. They're going to play better than the film suggests. It's a rivalry game. But, Iman, just like you were saying, I mean, it's the game. That's the biggest one. I look down that schedule. Okay. Michigan. I mean, Bryce Underwood, quarterback, Justice Haynes. That is the game. Ohio State's not gotten over that hump in 4 years now. They haven't won the game since 2019. They didn't play because of COVID in 2020. You have got to win that game for Ohio State. We saw what the loss did last year. There was two things that could have happened. If that was a young team, they don't win the national championship last year. They don't beat Tennessee. That team had grown men in that locker room that could have a players-only meeting with Coach Day. They hashed everything out, and then they go reach their potential, go win a national championship, and blow every team off the field.
I remember that last year. They were calling for Ryan Day's job after that. I was like, what? He's winning 80% of his games, which was weird to me because I still think he's just a great coach. But I remember they were calling for his job.
It's because you're measured against what you do in the game. I mean, John Cooper is a perfect example in the 90s for Ohio State. Look at all the games that he won and the teams he had and the players that he had. He was 2-13 in that game. That is when you say John Cooper to an Ohio State fan, the first thing they'll tell you is he had 2 wins against Michigan.
Couldn't beat Michigan.
That's the first thing they tell you. What's the first thing you think about with Urban Meyer? Yeah, that great run in 2014, but he was 7-0. Jim Tressel, he was 9-1. That's how you define those head coaches at Ohio State. That's how you define players. Like C.J. Stroud's elite. He didn't win that game. Like you almost look at those players with the ceiling or those coaches with the ceiling if you're not winning that game. And now the 12-team playoff has done something we've never seen in this sport. If there was a 14 format, Ohio State didn't go to the playoff or win a title last year after losing to Michigan because that's their second loss. Now you have an opportunity to go win a game. That was uncharted territory. So for Day, he kind of gets viewed in a different light because Jim Tressel didn't have a playoff. John Cooper didn't have a playoff. Urban Meyer had a 14 playoff. He never lost to Michigan. But those games against Purdue and Iowa that he lost kept Ohio State from the playoff. Now, Ohio State had a bad loss to a 4-loss team last year. They go to the playoff as the 8th seed, and they can go win a title. It's something new. There's a new way now to evaluate these coaches. But I think for Ryan Day and Ohio State, they know the game is the game, and that's the big focus. You look on that schedule, number one priority is Michigan.
Always is. You know what is funny, though? We had a Ohio State fan on earlier, one of the first episodes, and he was saying, circle the Penn State game. That's going to be the one, like, that might decide the championship. And obviously that has completely changed. But like you just said, now it's different circumstances. Now Penn State's coming in with nothing to lose.
Right.
Granted, like, their pass game is absolutely a net. Matt Patricia should absolutely dog walk those boys around the field on defense. And you guys should probably have whatever you want with them. But a team with nothing to lose, playing us out of desperation. That's some scary stuff, man. Is that one? Where is that one being played, by the way?
That one's in Columbus. And I think you'll see something similar to Florida last week playing Texas. Like, that was desperation mode for the Gators.
Yeah.
And they come and they win that game. I mean, Florida has good players. Penn State has good players. It's just, do you have the championship medal to play to your potential in that big spot?
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot about how great Ohio State is. What about, like, where they most exploitable? Because, like you said, they're pretty good. They got the best player in the country. I was premature in the last episode when Jeremiah Smith still got another 2. He still has another season there after this,
right?
Which is terrifying for college football.
For everybody.
That's terrifying for everybody. It should be. So where is this team most exploitable then?
I think they're most exploitable in 2 places. The first will be complacency, and that's just the psyche of the team, which is why I think Ryan Day and the leadership of the team, players-wise, they're trying to keep them hungry every single week, especially now with Penn State losing. That game has lost a little bit of its luster. But you go in there and take Penn State lightly. They have good players in that program. They have a good coaching staff. I know the narrative around them, so I think that's one area. The second area, I think, is if they become one-dimensional in a game offensively by having to throw the football. If they cannot run the football, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Yeah, the offensive line's playing really well, and Bo Jackson is averaging over 7 yards a carry as a freshman. But what if he doesn't? What if James Peoples or C.J. Donaldson just suddenly they don't? What if you have a defense that can not take away Jeremiah Smith but maybe limit him the way Texas did, and Ohio State has to throw the football, but they can't get 3rd and 1 or 4th and 2? What if they can't convert in short yardage What if, like against Ohio, they can't convert in the red zone one day? Like that, those are all possibilities. So I think for Ohio State is if they get into a game where they become one-dimensional and can't run the football or convert in short yardage, how can they win the game? Can they rely on the defense? What if special teams gives up a touchdown or a blocked field goal? You know, things that you don't think about. I think if Ohio State is susceptible, if they can't convert in short yardage, which they're not that great at this year statistically, and in the red zone we saw that against a MAC team in Ohio where they couldn't convert. What if that happens against Penn State or Michigan? What if you're on the road?
You're worried about
You're
worried about if they get smacked in the mouth, how they respond, essentially.
Yeah. And I mean, again, there's championship medal on the team because some of these guys won a championship last year, and this team's obviously hungry. But if the game doesn't go the way that you scripted, or if it's not played on your terms, what do you do with that?
Yeah. Looking at this team this year, I mean, as you can see, y'all went out and spent a lot of money for the roster. So it's talent all over. But I know you went back to Coach Cooper, Coach Tressel, Coach Urban. Where does this team stack up all time? Even last year, I mean, winning the Natty, but y'all did lose a couple games. So where does this year team stack up from past teams, and which Ohio State team that you think was the best you've seen in your lifetime?
So the most talented team I've seen for Ohio State was 2015. They did not win a national championship. And they struggled in some of the areas I just mentioned with this year's team where I'm worried. But like Day has said in the press conferences, they haven't won anything yet this year. So it's hard to say where they're going to stack up. Now, if I project, if they play like this for the whole year and we project and they win the national championship again with this defense, it could be the best team in program history. And then I don't know if giving up 5 points a game is sustainable for 15 or 16 games in a season. But if you're giving up less than 10 for the whole season, I mean, it could be one of the best teams of all time. I mean, it's hard to say that on October 10th, you know, here in week 6, week 7.
Also crazy with a young QB, real young QB.
Right, because Sayan has another year. Jeremiah Smith has another year. Bo Jackson has 2 more years. I mean, there's so much talent on this team everywhere. And this was the year. I mean, I would tell you last year, the window was last year and 26. I didn't think the team this year would be this good. But there's that talent, so you know the potential's there. It's just like Texas. They have a young quarterback and they have good talent, but they're not playing to that potential. I was worried that could be a thing for Ohio State, but it's not. You just don't know until you see the results on the field. That's why preseason polls are so difficult, because you just don't know until you play the games. So this team could absolutely end up being one of the best teams in program history. It could absolutely end up being one of the best teams in college football history. But they've got to go prove it on the field. They got to beat Michigan, and then they got to go on another run in the playoff and win a title to do that. And they can.
Yeah. I was kind of impressed with the run game, man. I mean, losing Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Jenkins in the same year, Junkins, and then you just come back and you're like, oh, by the way, we just got a dude named Bo Jackson. How could that go wrong? What could go wrong here? Especially when you're running at Ohio State. You said on that 2015 team, and I had to look it up. Yo, I'm telling you, this roster, I know these Ohio State teams are always loaded, but that was the year with Braxton Miller. They had Michael Thomas at receiver. Curtis Samuel was actually a running back for them. He's actually transitioned to receiver now in the NFL. They had Joe Burrow as a freshman QB on the bench. Cardell Jones was on the bench. Zeke Elliott was a junior that year. They had J.T. Barrett on that team. Marshawn Lattimore. Raekwon McMillan, that was a beast in college. Sham Hubbard. Garyon Conley. Denzel Ward. That pros up and down the entire lineup. Jerome Baker. Oh, my God. It is just, yes, Josh Cornell.
How the hell didn't y'all win the damn Jalen Holmes? He's from my hometown, Norfolk Lake Tulsa.
They couldn't get the quarterbacks figured out. It was J.T. Barrett. It was Cardell Jones. It was J.T. Barrett. It was Cardell Jones. It was red zone specialist J.T. Barrett. I mean,
Terry McLaurin on that team.
Yeah.
God.
And then you lose in a monsoon to Michigan State, who didn't lead for the entire game until there's zeros on the clock, and Mitch Geiger's running with the windmill down the field that you still wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and think about. And it's a 14 playoff. You don't go. If that was a 12-team playoff, there is no doubt in my mind that team wins a national championship. There's absolutely no doubt. Urban Meyer in a playoff after that loss. I mean, we saw what they did to Michigan and Notre Dame after that loss to Michigan State. There's no doubt they go and win it. And that's the benefit of this playoff system now, is you get that mulligan, you can have that loss, and you can still go recover. So on one sense, it's nice. But on the other sense, it was like that game, it felt like the world ended in Columbus that week.
Damn. Damn.
Like the sun doesn't come up after a loss sometimes. It really doesn't.
I feel that as a Packers fan. I feel that every Packers loss. Like the sun ain't coming up tomorrow.
No, it's overcast.
Yo, I didn't even finish. Like Joey Bosa on that team, Draymond Jones, Michael Hill. This team was stupid. How this might be the best team I've ever seen not win a championship or something.
Well, but if you know,
this is a crazy roster, man.
He's been known to lose a few games with crazy rosters. Because down in Florida, he had one of the craziest rosters. He's going to lose one or two just because he's not as focused as he should be. But like you said, I mean, that team was crazy. Urban Meyer was he's one of the best recruiters ever. If you go back and look at it, and we talk about it in the Nick Saban era where Saban kind of controlled all the 5 stars, Urban Myers could bring them in. I'm not going to lie to you. He could bring them in.
Yeah. Well, how about this, Blake? Our producer, Joey, he is a Fighting Illini fan, and y'all are squaring up this week. Joey, I'm not sure if you got any words. I know you got to have low expectations, but Joey, I mean, face-to-face with an Ohio State fan, you got words or anything?
I just got a few words, and I got to share a graphic with you that our friends at Fox built us here, which is the last 4 times Illinois and Ohio State were ranked and played each other, Illinois came out on top. So I am stoked for this weekend, and it's been circled on my calendar. I got tickets in the pre-sale, and I know I'm excited to see Smith, of course, and Ohio State, but I'm really excited to see what Illinois can really do here, because they already got their teeth kicked in Indiana, right? So that ugly one's out of the way against a good team. And so now they get to show what their worth is against Ohio State. And I really am impressed with Luke Altmaier at quarterback. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the Big Ten, to where, people argue about Sand and Moore at Oregon and these other guys, but Altmaier's quietly topping almost all categories for QBR in the Big Ten. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I want you, as an Ohio State fan, to get used to the name Hank Beatty running around on your defense. But I am stoked for this weekend. It's one of the biggest games in the last 20 years in Champaign. I know you're used to big games. I'm not. I've seen the bad, lived through the awful. So it's definitely going to be rocking in Champaign this weekend.
Joey, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to go with 30. We'll go with 33-30 Illinois. We'll get a field goal winner like USC.
You think you're going to get that much offense on
that many points?
Why not?
It's going to be like you're going to need to win like 17-14 in this one type of thing.
A slugfest in the rain is what I think what you guys need. Altmaier's great. I mean, and two, Brett Bielema, he's not a stranger to playing Ohio State as the number 1 ranked team in the country. Remember with Terrell Pryor in 2010 going up to Madison, Wisconsin. It was number 1. Wisconsin was ranked 18th in the country. Ohio State came to town for a night game and they beat them. Brett Bielema's a great coach, really solid staff there. And Altmaier's been great. Illinois has good pieces, and Day said in his press conference this week, just throw away that Indiana game. It just wasn't their day. And I believe that that's true. Illinois is a much better team than 63-10 against Indiana. And this is their opportunity to show it. And again, you said you circled it and you got tickets in the pre-sale. They definitely have had this one circled. Anytime Ohio State comes to town, it's a big game, but especially in this kind of moment. Buckeyes haven't been there in about a decade. Brett Bielema knows Ohio State. It's going to be a really good matchup.
Yeah, and that's what I love, too, with Ryan Day and Bielema, is they're perfect for this moment in college football. They are the coaches you want in these battles and matchups. Not the former NFL guys, even though Patricia's doing fine as an assistant, but these guys that aren't committed to what college football means, and unlike, Dabo Swinney, understanding the moment of how NIL works and how your recruiting's changed. And these guys get it, and Ohio State's obviously the cream of the crop, but Illinois is learning how to get there as well. So it'll be a fun gamesmanship for the two coaches as well in this game. But Altmaier's my pick to click over saying in this one for sure.
Blake, how do you think the game goes, and what's your score prediction then?
I mean, my
he says ass whooping.
my counterpoint to you,
I get it.
with running all over the defense is Caleb Downs. I mean, he's just a chess piece. You can move anywhere on the field with that defense. If Illinois can score, I will tip my cap to them. I am of the opinion that until I see it, I will not believe that it's possible. I mean, I can see Ohio State in the game 34-10. I can see it 27-6. I mean, I need to see somebody score 2 touchdowns on Ohio State's defense. I mean, can you imagine? You go down the field, you get 1. Okay. You go do it again. And then you got to do it again. Just to get 3 scores. I mean, Minnesota had 66 yards on the opening drive last week. They didn't even have 100 for the rest of the game. I mean, to do it once, great. Go do it again. And then go do it again. Like that's for me where I'm like, okay, can some team score 3 times on Ohio State? And I think Ohio State can score more than 21 points.
Oh, absolutely. You've got Jeremiah Smith. You can do anything at any given moment, realistically. Yeah. And you got a fair point, man. No one's done it yet. Like, I know Texas's offense has really been buns this year, and Arch Manning looks kind of mid, but that offense was inept, and they do got talent. Right. But no one else has done any. And Washington, too, that is one of the best offenses in college football. Like I was saying back then when that game started, it was criminal they weren't ranked at the time of that Ohio State game.
Absolutely was.
That offense is one of the top in the nation, and they took care of business on them. So, I don't know, man. Joey, you got points. Like, I like how Altmaier plays. I kind of like how that offense is able to operate within its own system. If they can take care of the ball now, like, I mean, I know they got some center problems or something like that. There's like some exchange problems, something with they can't take care of the football sometimes, but they can navigate, like, just live within their offense. And this is kind of like a game coming up in the NFL with, who is it? The Lions, the Bills and Falcons. Falcons got a great defense, and if they're going to want to win that game, they got to limit how often Josh Allen is on the field. They got to keep him off the field, and Illinois is going to have to do the same thing. They're going to need to just control the clock and keep it low scoring if they want to stand a chance. That's kind of what I'm thinking on this one. I don't know, Iman, how do you think that one goes?
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I think it was going to be kind of more of a 17-10. Now, listen. Now, I'm a bet guy, so I like to go with what's been going on. That the Fox put that up. I think I may take Illinois with the points this weekend because I cannot go against history. I mean, I'm just telling you, I like those stats. So I'm going Illinois with points, but I think it'll be around 17-10 either way.
Iman's got a hot streak betting too. So,
yes.
Joey, let me ask you a question real quick. If Ohio State wins the game by 3 scores, is your takeaway that Illinois was bad or that Ohio State is good? And I would
probably say it. No, I'd probably say it means Ohio State is good,
right?
Because I think if Illinois plays well but loses, even if it's by 3, that's acceptable. It's that Indiana one where they didn't show up. Okay, that's the one that's tough to swallow.
Yeah, and I say that because Illinois is a good team in the affirmative. They are a good team regardless of this outcome. But the takeaway from every game Ohio State's played so far is the opponent is trash. How is that possible? That is how bad Ohio State is beating teams. That's how much the defense is suffocating teams. I mean, every team they play is not bad.
No.
That defense is just that good. And that's to me where I'm like, okay, can someone score 3 times? Can you score on 3 possessions?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're not playing Louisiana Monroe. Right. Like, you're playing Big Ten teams now.
Exactly, so with real offenses.
No shade to Louisiana Monroe, but, like, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, great conversation, Blake. Good talking football with you, man. Big Ten guy. We're a lot of Big Ten folks in here. Iman, you got some allegiances to Maryland too, right? I think, are we all Big Ten folks in here right now?
Listen, I'm right up the street from Maryland, so I make a couple games, and I seen Malik Washington for 3 years in high school because my girlfriend is a track coach there, so I watched him for 3 years. He's a pro. He's going to be a pro. So, it's all Big Ten in here.
SEC who?
Yeah.
bunch of lames down there in the South. But no, Blake, it's been great having you on, man. You know a lot of ball on Ohio State, man. It was great hearing what you had to say on it. And why don't you just, again, one more time let the people know where they can find all the work that you do out there for those old Buckeyes.
Yeah, guys, I appreciate you having me on. It was great talking with you. You can find us at the Silver Bulletin. That's tsilverbulletin.com. Saturday Cadence. You can find us at Saturday Cadence on all social media. And then me personally at Blake Biscardi. So, again, guys, I appreciate you for having me on. And go Bucks.
Yes, sir. All right, have a good one, Blake.
You guys too.
I don't know if Joey's going to feel better or worse about that game after that, but hey, it's just hard to as good as Miami, we talked about this last episode, as good as Miami looks, right? As good as Ole Miss looks, as good as Oregon looks, like it's can you do something on that defense? No one has proven they can. If Washington couldn't, that was kind of going to be a benchmark for me. Is how good is this defense really? And Washington got their ass kicked all game by it.
And I kind of just think they have super talent, but I think my Patricia's just doing an awesome scheme job with confusing college quarterbacks, confusing college lines. I mean, watching downs be at different places during the game. So I think it's mixed with talent and coaching. So I'm with you. I think Oregon's going to give them an issue, though. I watch Oregon's offense. They got some talent too, and Moore is that guy. So we're going to see.
That's the Heisman right now. All right. Why don't we rip into the news desk? Britton, get Joey back out here. We got a couple things to go through on the news desk. We won't take too long on it, but some good things happening in sports this week and some games to take a look at coming up this week. And so, Joey, why don't you just lead us through it? What do we got?
Sounds good. First off, we're going baseball.
Okay.
The Yankees are out. Once again, failing to win the World Series, let alone make it. The last time they made it and won was 2009. Against the Blue Jays, outscored 34-19, out-homered 9-4. They got a nice little drought going in their championships. What are our thoughts on these Yankees, and where do they stand now as we look kind of at the MLB landscape with the top teams?
My thing is here, man. Money doesn't win championships all the time. Yankees continue to prove that. Like you said, they haven't won shit in a long time now, over a decade, right? Money's not winning them anything. Obviously baseball doesn't have its cap, but and now you got the Brewers and who was the other team, the small market team playing the Mariners, both of them playing well enough in the playoffs, winning playoff baseball, and they got tiny little salaries, not much being spent. Obviously, you saw the Mets, $300 million, didn't even make the playoffs. So, the Yankees got their star-studded team. It just, it was poor management. Obviously, they had so many pitching problems. It just, they thought they had the reliever crew of the gods, and that let them down tremendously. So, I don't know. Money doesn't win championships all the time. That's all I got on it.
Aaron Judge hurt me though. He hurt me on Tuesday because
he hit.
Yeah, he hurt me. Really call him out on Tuesday. But I mean, if you look at those teams in the early 2000s, the Stars actually played in October when it was time to put the pedal to the metal. The Stars showed out. So I just think all those guys is making all that money. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, people want to go to Cancun. They do not want to play all year. So. Yeah, they need to do something. But Aaron Judge hurt me. I know he hurt me the next game.
And here's another thing, man. Just living and dying by the long ball, right? They're an offense that led the majors with 274 home runs and scored a big league high of 50% essentially of their runs came from the long ball this season. That's from Elias Sports Bureau. So live and die by the home runs. It's very much like the Mariners, man. They don't hit many. They don't play. None of their hitters are really great at hitting or average hitters until they traded for Josh Naylor. They just rip a ton of long balls. And sometimes you can't put up any runs if they're not happening. That's, I think, kind of what caught the Yankees in the ass, and the Blue Jays just played better overall baseball this series.
And I wonder if the Yankees are kind of falling into that category. This would be like a good talking heads segment for all the shows, right? But, okay, if they have a 16-year drought with World Series, right, are they falling into that Cowboys category where the name is bigger than the actual team?
I thought about that for sure, that they're becoming big for no reason. We just keep talking about them every year. This may be the year, and it's never their year. Yes, they are neck and neck with them for sure.
That's a hell of an analogy. The New York Yankees are just the Dallas Cowboys of the MLB. That's crazy. That's so true. I never thought of that like that. That's facts, man.
But the Cowboys haven't been to a championship game since the 90s, let alone won it. Been to it.
Don't remind me, Joey.
Oh, sorry, Iman.
Yeah. All right, what do we got up next on the news desk?
All right, next up, we're going to college football. 7th-ranked Indiana plays number 3 Oregon. Both teams 5-0 for the second straight season. Indiana has not been 5-0 since 1967 until last season, and Oregon has never lost a Big Ten game in their tenure in the league. What are our thoughts going into this game? Predictions?
It's not going to be close. I mean, Kurt's doing a great job by getting some recruits in there in Indiana, but I think that Illinois just explosion is a blip, and I think they're going to get down to reality come this weekend. I think Oregon's going to blow them out, and I do think they're more talented this year than they were last year, but I seen them against Notre Dame, and I was like, not there yet. So I think maybe in 2 more years, 2 more recruiting classes, they're going to be there, but I think they're going to get back down to reality this weekend. It's going to be a blowout. I think Oregon by 3 touchdowns.
I was going to say, I'm kind of feeling the Iman vibe of glizzies and tequila at halftime. It's time to turn up because this one's over. I don't know. I mean, I'm not taking away from Indiana. Damn good football team. They obviously caught Illinois on the worst day. And I mean, just an absolute clunker of a game for Illinois. Indiana's a good team. They were kind of surprising everyone when they started climbing up the ranks a couple seasons ago, getting ranked, staying ranked, and they've consistently remained ranked. So it's becoming like a well-run program. They're building out that program the right way. So I'm not saying it's impossible for them against Oregon. I'm just saying Oregon is absolutely effing talented. They got the best quarterback in the nation right now, and so I'm going to take the best offense. I'm going to take the better offense with the better quarterback and what I think is better coach, better overall team right now. Dan Lanning just knows how to get those boys right and has done such a damn good job. So like Iman, it's just going to be too hard for me to not go Oregon on this one. I also agree. At least 2 scores. What's next?
All right, let's jump into NFL. Niners and Bucks, teams you didn't think we'd be talking about at this point in this excitement. They meet at 4-1, with the winner having a leg up on the Eagles. And by the way, as we're talking, the Eagles currently down 26-17 to the New York Giants, which is
Jackson Dart season has begun.
So we'll see where that one ends up. But Niners continue to do it with a backup QB and no wide receivers. Is this Shanahan's best coaching job so far with the Niners or in his, tenure in the NFL?
I think so, personally. And look, I've been very vocal that I don't think Brock Purdy is worth that money. Never has been for a second. All of his production has come with the best team in football, a team where had so many all-pros to the extent that we've never seen that many all-pros on one side of the football, and he dominated with it, which is great and everything. And he does do nice things. He doesn't do anything special, though. Never thought he was worth the money, to the extent that now Mac Jones is coming into this offense and playing better than Brock Purdy has played at any point when Brock Purdy's been healthy this year. So I think the 49ers played themselves by giving Brock Purdy all that money. I think that contract is already aging like rotten milk sitting outside on a hot summer day, personally. But I think Shanahan, what he's doing, obviously McCaffrey, at least he's been healthy, but there's no Ayuk. Kittle got banged up right away. Purdy got banged up right away. Juwan Jennings is hurt. Ricky Pearsall is hurt, and they just keep winning. On the defensive side, they lost Bosa. Like, what can go wrong with this team's roster has gone wrong, and they're winning. That game against the Rams, absolutely an impressive win. Hugely impressive win. And that's like, if this team's healthy, they're going to, and I hate to say it, they're going to be scaring. And plus, they cut Jake Moody. I'm so happy they spent the 3rd-round pick on a fucking kicker. And they went and got Eddie Pinheiro, who has now not missed a field goal for him, and he's just been clutch. So I'm going to say this is one of Shanahan's better jobs. It's not the Avengers anymore. This is a legit, well done coaching for right now. Is kind of, I feel, leading this team right now.
He's always been a good coach, I say, especially as far as offensive play calling. Even though he's blew a few. That one when he was in Atlanta was like the worst just offensive blunder in the second half I've ever seen. But just to have, I didn't know who Kendrick Bourne was. And I mean, to be able to scheme him open, I'm like, Cal is really doing an awesome job. So I would say he's doing a coach of the year job over there. Because as he say, Purdy's bad, I think Mac Jones is terrible still. I don't care what he's doing now. I seen Mac Jones. He's not a good quarterback. So, yes, Cal is doing, and Robert Saleh is doing even better on defense. So,
back to his normal ways, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going, but I do think they will lose this weekend, though. I think they're going to take an L this weekend because Mac Jones is going to turn back into Mac Jones soon. Yeah. So
I think the Bucks are going to have another win like they've won all season. It's probably going to come down to the last drive. But Baker have another game-winning drive like he's had every single one of their wins this season has been a game-winning drive. So I think it could come down to that. But man, that Bucks team, that's a scary offense. That's a damn good offense when they get Mike Evans back too. And then they get what's his face, running back, little guy out of Oregon, Bucky. When they get Bucky Irvin back too, that offense is potent. And I love Baker. Big Baker Mayfield fan. What's next?
All right, next on our list, we're going to Iman's side of the country. The Ravens.
Uh-oh.
Still without Lamar Jackson and a lot of defensive pieces. Are they still the betting favorite in the AFC North over 3-1 Pittsburgh? How much trouble are they in? Or do we still have a little bit of confidence in that flock of Ravens?
Aren't they better betting favorites right now, Iman?
Yes, and
the hell?
My only thing, I'm like, y'all trying to set people. I know what they're doing. They're setting people up. They want people to go in there, bet that money on them. The Pittsburgh Steelers are gonna crush them. I mean, there's no way Cooper Rush against that defense. Pittsburgh's defense is starting to play a little bit better. And let's be clear, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. DK Metcalf is gonna have a fucking fit. We got me playing on defense. Me, Austin, and you, Joey, can suit up tomorrow and probably make that roster right now. Man, listen. And like I said, Joey, I'm gonna watch the game, but I think I may be bad luck. It's me. If I wouldn't have lived to see the Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls, I would think it's me because, like, fuck, I'm just depressed again this year.
And they just traded Odafe Owe. Like, they were already down bad, and then they just traded he's a starter. He's been a starter for them, has he not? Odafe Owe, starting edge rusher?
Yeah.
So to trade him, like, that's a wake-up call. They sent him to the Chargers. That was kind of out of nowhere. So, yeah, I like you've been saying, Iman, I think the scene's already over for them. You know, it's time to tank for fill in the blank. That they're
Downs. I want Downs. I want Caleb Downs. We got to get somebody on defense who can be a baller, can just be a better. And I like Hamilton. We paid him a lot of money.
He's great. I love him.
Clearly, he needs some help. So I think Caleb Downs can kind of play in the box a little bit more. Tank for him. We want him.
Tank for Caleb Downs. There's not a pass rush you want to add to that defense right now?
No.
Okay.
We need somebody in the DB. Our DBs are terrible. We're not tackling well this year either. No, we need a versatile guy that can kind of play in the box and get picks and he's that. So, no, we can find one of them in the second or third round maybe.
Fair enough. All right, what's next, Joey?
Lions and Chiefs. If you asked this question in August, it would be a Super Bowl preview. But now the Chiefs are 2-3. If the playoffs started today, they'd be out. Is this a must-win for Kansas City?
Nah, not yet. They can. 2-4 with the Chiefs team, and the Lions are no slouch. They have, since that Packer game, they look like they have not missed a beat from last season, right? So this is still a Super Bowl contending Lions team. Now, if we're talking about if this is the Bengals and the Chiefs lost, it's a little bit more concerning. But this is a Super Bowl contender that I think, honestly, the Chiefs can go into that game and still walk out with a W right now. They're getting back they got Xavier Worthy back. The offense is getting back into its normal rhythm. Patrick Mahomes is using his legs a bunch again, and it's helping that offense out a bunch. That Spagnuolo defense is still just a fickle bitch out there sometimes. It's hard to play with, and it's going to come down. Can they stop the run? Can they slow down that Lions offense and just slow down Montgomery and Gibbs? And they might. I think the Chiefs can honestly walk out of this game with a win. If they lose 2-4, I think it's still much manageable. Like, they can still win. Think about the division they're in. They can win that division. Yeah. They can win that division at just above a 500 record. So,
and just for the past years, I've been saying you just never bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They know how to flick that switch on, and once they flick it on, it can still get scary. And you got to think they're older now, so I think they will get a later jump later in the year, so they can just roll straight into the playoffs. It'd be a little bit better, but I'll never bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid not making a play. And I think they need to win, but I still think even if they lose, they'll get in the playoffs easy.
Yeah, be huge to get a win, but not a must win. Not great if you don't win. All right, what's next?
A game you mentioned earlier in the show, Bills Falcons. Mm-hmm. Is it feasible that the Falcons walk away with a win, and what would it take against Josh Allen and the Bills?
Like I said earlier, keep Josh Allen off the damn field. This has got to be a game that the defense wins the Falcons this football game right now. They got to keep him off the field, and the Falcons just need to hold on to the ball. They need to limit turnovers. They need to feed that run game. They need to burn the clock. They want to get out of this game as quick as humanly possible. That said, playing a close game with Josh Allen, that could be dangerous when it comes down to it in the fourth quarter, but this can't be a high-scoring game. The offense is ascending for Atlanta. It's not there yet. They got a lot of dogs on that offense. They're playing well, and I think this team will finish pretty solid as like an actual like serious wild card competitor at the end of the year at this pace with how that defense is playing with the dogs they got on offense. But you got to keep Josh Allen off the field as much as you can. You got to burn clock on offense. You got to be able to move the ball on offense. Just kind of keep picking up first downs and limit possessions for the Bills is kind of how I think they win this one if they do. Bills coming off a loss at home. I mean, they're gonna be looking for a bounce back. They might be playing hard as fuck, but Falcons might have learned something from that Patriots game.
But that's why I was thinking the opposite. The offense got to wake up at some point, Austin, because I think Josh Allen's not going to have another down week where he's just not going to light it up. And like you said, Atlanta's offense is London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. Let's be clear, Michael Penix, they drafted you top 10. Brother, you got to start showing it. Number one, I forgot the other slot receiver.
Mooney. They got Mooney. He's healthy.
I mean, the backup running back. I mean, they have so much talent. They got to wake up at some point. And I think this week, if they don't wake up, it might get ugly because I think Josh Allen is coming in with a little chip on his shoulder after that loss last week, and he's going to try to light it up.
Yeah. It's not going to be an easy game to win, though. But AJ Terrell, their star cornerback, says he's feeling 100% for Monday night. That's a huge win for the Falcons to get him back and add him, make sure he's got him in the mix to add to the best defense and statistically the best defense in football right now. And hey, Michael Penix, first Falcons quarterback to record multiple 300-yard passing games through his first 7 career starts. So he's doing something. He hasn't been as good as he wanted to be yet, but he's been an elite sack avoider. I'll give him that. That's been one thing he's done very, very well this season. And so, I just think that the Falcons got enough to make this competitive. But Josh Allen is always going to be a problem. All right, what's the last one we got for today, Joey?
Last one, we're going in the Battle of Ohio. The Browns trade Joe Flacco to the Bengals to take over for Burrow's injury. A couple angles on this I thought were interesting I wanted to bring up with you guys. One is that when Kevin Stefanski, head coach, did his press conference this week and the media asked him about the trade, he was surprised. And I sit there and I go, how does your head coach not know that you're trading one of your quarterbacks? So that's my dysfunction question 1. And then 2, what is the Browns quarterback situation right now? I was doing some research before the show. I didn't realize they're paying 8 quarterbacks. 8 quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Dylan Gabriel, now Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, Bailey Zappi, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
That's 7.
That's 7. Oh, I'm missing one.
Is there another? There's probably another one. They recycle
it's a
quarterbacks.
Former one that I can't remember. But
I mean, I'm not surprised.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's the Browns, Joey. Yeah, it's the Browns.
It's dysfunction. I thought my team was dysfunctional. They're crazy up there in Cleveland.
I mean, look, wasn't it kind of like an owner's call to draft Shedeur where not everyone was on board with that? So, I mean, it certainly doesn't surprise me. Now, you should see Packers Twitter, how just depressed some of these people are saying, oh, Joe Flacco's going to come in and beat us twice in the same year, which, look, it's not out of the – because the Packers play the Bengals this week, so they're going to be Joe Flacco's first matchup, and Joe Flacco just played the Packers as a Brown, and the Packers Twitter is, like, losing their mind over losing to Joe Flacco twice in the same season, which, like, folks – let's breathe a little bit here. First of all, it's not like they went from Jake Browning to fucking God. They went from Jake Browning to 40-some-year-old Joe Flacco, and he's not the reason the Browns beat the Packers. Let's be perfectly clear. We couldn't do shit on that defense. This is the Bengals defense we're talking about now. So I'm not really worried about him coming in and doing much damage against the Packers. That said, I am thinking that he's going to at least help elevate. I don't think he'll be worse than Browning. Is he a statue? Absolutely. But is going to be better than Browning and getting the stars the football, and that should help their run game a little bit if you can kind of start opening up the offense again. Chase Brown is a really talented running back. You're a Illini guy there. Really talented running back, and I think you're going to see a lot of dump-offs to him as well, but this is classic Browns to me. Just what else is new?
And the last quarterback, sorry, my list cut off. Kenny Pickett, I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's still there. Oh, he's a bum. He's still there. I just be confused on why Kevin Stefanski just really hates Shador. Because I heard he's still going to be like third string. And I'm like, Kevin just, and I get it. When you're the head coach and that's not the guy you want, listen, I've been there on teams where I'm like, who is this guy? Why are they here? But in earlier the year, remember I said I thought Cincinnati should have traded for Shador, but I guess they ended up getting Flacco. But I just be confused on what Kevin is doing. He's going to get fired for this. So I guess he's really just not giving a fuck this year, but he's going to get fired because of this, because I think the Browns got worse. Cincinnati got better because, like you said, I mean, we got to find somebody who can get Chase and T. Higgins the ball. But, I mean, Dylan Gabriel, I watched it last week. He's not the answer. So, Shador's going to get his shot, but clearly Kevin doesn't like him at all. And not to know about a trade, I'm like I said, I'm not shocked. It's the Browns. It's the worst organization in the history of the NFL. So just they find a way to fuck it up. So,
and if Gabriel can't go, it would be crazy to not give it to Shador, right? If you think about Bailey Zappi, another guy on that roster, his last 3 starts, he's got a 50% completion percentage. He's averaging 155 yards a game, 7 interceptions, and a 36.9 passer rating. I feel however you want to feel about Shador. It doesn't get much worse than that. He can do better than that. So give him the run. I mean, if Gabriel starts to shit the bed, I think Gabriel looked like a little bit better than Flacco, maybe a little bit. So far, how he's handled pressure, granted limited sample size. So his stats so far under pressure, he's got 115 passer rating. He's got 2 touchdowns, averaging 2.7 times a throw. So, and that was against a Pittsburgh defense recently. So he's looking like, I understand giving him the shot. You obviously drafted him first. He's obviously an older quarterback. He's played a ton of football, thrown a lot of rocks. So I understand giving him the couple looks here. But if for some reason he can't go or he starts to flounder, there's no question that Shador's got to be next up. And I'm still not ruling out that someone trades for him midseason. Not ruling out someone trades for Malik Willis out of Green Bay if someone's just willing to spend and pay up. But there's no way you can hand this offense over to Bailey Zappi over Shador. There's just no way.
He still got Shador quarterback 3. So I mean, he hates that guy. I don't know what the issue is, but he hates.
What's Deshaun Watson's situation? Do you guys know? Like, when's he coming back, if at all, ever? Is he playing football this year?
I doubt it.
Deshaun Watson. I mean, I have no idea when was the last time? It feels like I haven't seen him play football in quite.
He played last year. He was terrible though. He was playing last year. And let's be clear, he wasn't good at all. So he played last year and got hurt. Then he was out, but he was terrible last year. I mean, Cleveland is just a graveyard for whoever. And that's why I just sit back and think Shador didn't want to go to Baltimore or Philly, but you wanted to go to Cleveland?
Deshaun Watson is medically cleared to play in October. He's practicing. He's slinging rocks on the football field. So if you thought a Browns quarterback situation was bad per normal, it's about to get up here and smelly here real quick here and a little bit more scandalous real quick here. I can't wait. That's going to be must-watch football in Cleveland for that toxicity.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
it's only going to get worse.
Shador's never touching the field.
No, sir. All right. We're gonna wrap up the show there. We had a long one for you today, but everyone have a great weekend per usual. Watch some playoff baseball, some NFL football, some big college football game. Good slate this weekend, and then we are gonna see you again per normal on Tuesday. Until then, we'll see you.
Peace out.